Hi gorgeous people, I thought I'd do a little update video of where we're at with our journey at our new home. We've nearly been here 3 years now, which is kind of exciting. And we've had a pretty tough ride with the horses this spring. There was a lot of laminitis, and yet I hadn't really given them the grass that I felt would have triggered that. But what I have learnt, and that is what I'd like to share, is that when the land is overtired and depleted of nutrients, obviously the grass fights back harder, and it seems to be the shorter the grass, the more issues I had. And the moment I gave them the longer grass and the fields that we've left over the last couple of years and done nothing with, we started to go through the kind of healing crisis, as I call it. So yes, we had a lot of lameness. We had a lot of lying down, particularly from George, and then he's never had laminitis before. But as I observed this rippling effect of healing, or rippling wave of healing, I just had this deep feeling inside that it had to happen, and that they were doing some really deep healing that may have shown up as laminitis, or what we call laminitis, but was actually a much deeper rebalancing than perhaps I will ever know or understand. And I was invited to really let go of needing to fix and needing to understand. And I listened, and obviously I managed them as best as I could with much love and bedding and water, food and painkillers if it was required. And we've upped their herbs, so I've got a wonderful selection of dried herbs for them, and I've also done quite a lot of research on how we can support our native horses on their native land, because to me it feels really unfair that a native species is struggling to live out on the land that it was gifted. What have we humans done to that land and to our horses to have all these issues, or for them to have all these issues? So I have used AI for this, and I've dug deep with questions. If I got an answer that was very formulaic or the obvious answer, I kept pushing, and have obviously explored other sites where people are exploring similar things. And the overall message is to really encourage them to move as much as possible. So we're very blessed. We've got a hard track, which, well, in some ways is not a blessing because of the stones, but they seem to be grinding down the longer we're here. But that's doing a lot of self-trimming, and it's making them move, and they have to walk down that in order to get into a paddock, in order to get feed. So they're very strong, they're very fit, and their hooves are looking good. Noodle's got one hoof that is in need of healing, having had 4. So I'm really, really pleased for him. And I'm hoping that I might be able to create a space for any laminitic horses that need to heal, because it's not just about dealing with the metabolic issues. We've got to get them to adjust to the land as well, also I believe. And so I've been exploring really fun ideas of turning one of the paddocks into a dust space plus a little bit of grass, but not too short, and some really tiny pebbles where it massages the hooves, and then they also have hardcore. But anyway, this is all a beginning, but I just thought I'd keep you in the loop. I suppose really the greatest message here that I've had is to listen to them, because they really do know how to heal. And it's also that letting go of fear, like fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of messing up. You know, if they were to die, or did I do something wrong? And every time, it's particularly with George, because he spent a few days on the ground and I couldn't get him up, and so I was just, he would get up at times, but so I was kind of following him around the fields with straw and water and feed and just listening to what he needed. I also sang to him, he loved that. And then eventually I managed to get him into the barn, because that was obviously easier for me, but it wasn't really what he wanted. It was much easier for me because then I didn't have to lug with straw and water around. So that was kind of a highlight in itself, was that many of our decisions are around what we can manage. But so much of his healing, I know, was when he was with the herd, and they would stand around him and they would hold a space for him to heal, and he slept and he rested and he felt safe. And it was a real push for me. I had to surrender and to trust that whatever the outcome was the outcome. And I truly believe that we never die. We are this beautiful energy, and we've been gifted these amazing bodies, and when we die we change form. And I think it was Albert Einstein, I'm not sure, who said something along those lines of energy never dies, it simply changes form. And I take those words completely, whoever they were, because I really, really believe that. And when we're in our hearts and when we're fully present, which the horses kept asking me to do over this time, we connect into something that we're never taught at school, we've never been really told about. We have to remember it for ourselves. And we connect in a very beautiful language that is seen in the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. Anyway, that's another whole narrative, but really, yeah, I just wanted to share that it's really important that wherever we can support our soil, because it's not just for the food that we're eating, where it's really key. We need the nutrients back into our food. It's for all these animals that are out there as well. And you know, if we're eating meat, we want that meat to be healthy too. We want our animals to be happy and healthy. And for our horses, we want them to be able to move and be able to be out and not get sick. So it's really imperative that we stop intoxicating the land and really start listening to what nature needs. Nature will reset herself. She's got no problem with that, and she'll do it. And if it needs to get messy, she'll do it in order to bring the balance back. But perhaps if we all just take a little bit of time to listen, and I'm not saying we can do it in any amount of land and in any way, even when we go to the parks, just to listen, and as little as picking up some rubbish and putting it in the bin makes a huge difference, because an animal's not going to eat that. To plant our own little lettuce garden in the back garden is something beautiful, and it's really tasty as well. I did it this time, and then I did also put some kale in, but the caterpillars have had that. But hey, you know, one for me, one for them, one for us, one for them, whatever it might be. But anyway, I'm kind of drifting off on a tangent, but I just wanted to share what the horses had really shared with me this year, and it really let go of the need to fix, let go of the need to control, let go of the need to understand. And they're big things, you know, they're huge things. So I'm not saying this with like, hey, it's so easy, you can do it just like that, you know, and you might be able to, but I'm not saying that we must do it just like that, but it's something to really be aware of. Where are we trying to control an outcome? Where are we trying to fix because we're frightened? And ultimately that can be it, frightened of pain, frightened of sadness, frightened of so much. And we have to step into love. And when we step into love, everything opens up in a very different way. And it's very expansive and very supportive and very strengthening and very empowering. And you know, and I would say as well, like when I was just getting one horse after another coming in with lameness of some sort, and then there was a kind of different thing that looked like it was a kind of nervous thing, or nerve thing, and you know, we couldn't really get to the bottom of it, but I just kept listening, and it was almost like it was maybe I suppose in a human way of saying it was like a virus working through, or a really deep healing working through. And I felt pretty desperate, and I did put it out, you know, like, is this for me? I don't know if this is for me anymore. Maybe I'm not doing a very good job. Maybe someone else is meant to take the herd from this point. And I will always be open to that. You know, it might be that one day someone else is going to take them for the next 10 years, who knows? But, or maybe it will continue with me. But it is always with the highest good for all in mind. So one always has to check in with that. But what I learned was I had to keep just trusting and keep showing up. And then I learned I had to just let everything be. Stop turning up with all this like baggage of shit, this is awful. And turn out and go, hey guys, you look so beautiful, you're cool, you've got this. And everything shifted after that. It was just like, George was strong again. Coco had a little bit of a wobble because he was testing me. He's strong again. They're all strong. And the only thing that we're just dabbling with is Noodle's hind hoof, and Nimrod has this kind of mud fever thing that we're taking a long-term view of clearing it, because again, I feel it's working through, but we're getting there. And castor oil and green clay have been magic. And I've also found another great brand called Mudmaster, who their products have been really helpful too. Anyway, that is enough, but that is my little sharing from these beautiful, beautiful ponies. Much love to you all. Bye.